Hello, this is Reddithin, and welcome to GPC Season 7, Week 2 against Carter and the Chicago Cubchoos. If you were here for last week, we got a 5-0 against Mio with Zygarde putting in some major work. So this week, I'm going to pull up the matchup so you can look at what we're getting into. I'm just gonna ignore the fact that I still don't have a draft analysis. That I still want to do that. That might happen still. Hopefully should, but let's just go for now. Anyway, so let's go into the team. So first up, I actually have Scarf Neolego, and if you look at his team, this thing doesn't really have like that great of a matchup. However, I figured it was just necessary just because of that Salamence. Because outside of Klefki, I really have like no good way to deal with Salamence. Even he could be like a Lumberry, and if he's Lumberry, then we're just in for like a really bad time if he's slipping a D-Dance. So I really wanted to get that Scarf Neolego up there because it can guarantee Oko with the Power Gem, and it's always going to outspeed after like +1 with his spread. So yeah, and overall, it can do decent work once the Ferrothorn is gone. Once Ferrothorn and Nidoqueen are gone or weakened more like this thing can really come in and just wreck because of course the Feeny dies to a Sludge Wave, the Rotom decides to a Power Jam, Mega Sharpedo, if it doesn't have the boost, it's going to be doing a ton. So yeah, this thing actually just does a lot of damage. I might have to like make a lot of predictions. However, just being able to outspeed the Salamence and either scare it out or revenge it is really, really nice. So, yeah. Next up, we have a Banded Zygarde with 1000 Arrows, E-Speed, Superpower, and Outrage. And this was just because nothing on his team actually has a reliable recovery outside of the Salamence, which of course does not want to be taking any of these moves. And yeah, like the Ferrothorn, if it's like max Fizz-Def, it does like 35 to like 40, and like a lot. His team really just drops to like Banded Zygarde, so it's really nice to kind of like break down his team a bit. So eventually, Nihilego is going to have like an easier time doing stuff and things. So yeah, I got the E-Speed there on the priority just because it's really nice for like stuff like the Sharpedo or the Salamence. So that'll make revenging them a bit easier. And then we just got the superpower for the Ferrothorn and then Outrage because I really didn't have anything else to put on there, and like once the Feeny and the Ferro's gone, he has like literally nothing that can take one. And next up is Shaman with Seed Flare, Dazzling Gleam, Hidden Power, Fire, and Tailwind. This is enough to outspeed Lucario. Yeah, I believe it's Lucario. This thing can outspeed, and really this is another thing that can really just like clean up once his team's weakened enough, because like nothing on his team like appreciates any of these moves. Like the only thing that can really that really walls this thing is the Rotom, but even then if I get like Rocks up and then it's not going to be wanting to take Seed Flares, especially when it's like max speed or max offensive life orb. And then the Tailwind is just on there because not only does it let me outspeed his entire team with this thing after the Tailwind, but it really just helps my team in general. Like the Zygarde be able to outspeed everything, the Magmortar be able to outspeed everything. Then Neolego already outspeeds everything as it is, but in case he's running, or in case he has like a speed boost on Sharpedo or something, then I can do with that better. Next up we have Spadef Kecleon. And this is knockoff Fire Punch, Stealth Rock, and Recover with the Chople Berry. I just put the Chople Berry on there just for Lucario because I noticed Lucario is kind of a threat if it's able to set up. So with the Chople Berry, I'm guaranteed to live anything it wants to throw at me, and then I can, no, actually, it might no. This thing actually might still die to a +2 close combat. I think it actually does, but but either way, this thing it keeps it from setting up on it or just knocking it out at me. Okay, let me redo this again. I have the Chople Berry on there because in case Lucario comes in, I don't really have many things that want to switch into Lucario, so this thing could take a close combat or a or like a Focus Blast or Aura Sphere or whatever, and then I could just KO with that Fire Punch. So Yeah, that's why I have that on there. That's actually why, main reason I had Fire Punch, because this thing, because while this thing actually can't deal with the Feeny with this set, Fire Punch allows me to hit Ferrothorn, which is a huge issue to me. Like once the Ferrothorn's gone, then a lot of my team does like a lot better. Yeah, so it gets rid of the Ferrothorn, it keeps Lucario from like setting up on me. So yeah, and I got the knockoff. The knockoff can get rid of like the Feeny's leftovers if it tries to switch in. This thing actually also is a Feeny switch in. It can really only switch in once, because once I use a move, then it becomes weak to its stabs. But yeah, I can get rid of its leftovers, and really like his entire team really likes their items. Yeah, like literally everything does not want to get like knocked off, except for the Sharpedo and the Salamence, but it has like a Zim crystal. And then I also got the Stealth Rock and Recover, because a lot of people don't know this thing actually gets Stealth Rock, but like it's like with that's like Spidef, it's really nice as kind of like a nice little like special wall. Like you can switch it on the Rotom, like it can take literally anything from the Rotom. It can take anything other than like a Focus Blast from the Nidoqueen. It can take anything from the Phoenix, take anything from the Uxie, and then I could just set up my rocks like really safely. So yeah, this thing's really nice. I like this set in this matchup. Next up is the Fizdef Klefki with Thunder Wave, Spikes, Dazzling Gleam, and Reflect. This was my main. This was another check to Mence, just because Mence was like so scary. So yeah, I got the Thunder Wave to slow it down. If it's a Lumberry, then I got like the Reflect and stuff, so something else can come in and like live its things. And I also just got the Reflect on there just because I don't really have like any dedicated physical walls on this team other than Klefki, and like Klefki is also just kind of not really that bulky, so it's really nice for like the Sharpedo or the Ferrothorn or the Komala or the Lucario and everything, like just be able to have that and like make sure the rest of my team can live hits from that stuff is really nice. And then I just got the I had the Dazzling Gleam because it can kill Salamence and Sharpedo, and then I just got Spikes because his only removal is the is Komala and Feeny, and both of those are pretty much just where were they going with that? Yeah, both of those are pretty much just easy switch-ins for either Zygarde or the my Shaman. So yeah, having forced him to do Fog is really nice. And if not, then I just have Spikes up for the for everything else, because that'll just wear his team down so much quicker. And then finally we have the Magmortar with Fire Blast, Thunderbolt, HBI Sub, and the Electrium Z. This is enough speed to outspeed. What did I put the speed on? I believe it was to outspeed a Feeny trying to creep a Shaman. Yeah, that's what it is. It's to outspeed a Feeny trying to creep a Shaman. So yeah, the Thunderbolt, like with the Gigavolt Havoc, that's just the Feeny's just gonna drop to that after switching in on something. And then like the rest of it, like he actually just gets destroyed by this thing. The only thing that can take hits from this thing is the Rotom, but once I get my rocks up, like it's not going to be appreciating like Fire Blast at all. So yeah, and I just got the HPS on there just for the Mence, because letting the Mence like set up would be really bad. So yeah, nice to have that back there. So yeah. So anyway, I'm sorry that this was probably the worst worst team analysis I've ever done, but we got through it. So let's get to the battle. See what he brought. No Mence, surprisingly, no Mence and no Lucario. And I was really surprised by that, because looking at this team, he doesn't really have that much offensive pressure. Like Mence and Lucario, those are like his two main setup sweepers, and like with and while my team is definitely like really offensive, like I don't really have that many like dedicated walls that he really needed to like try to like break down. Like those really did like do work against me. So I'm actually surprised I didn't bring it, but not upset in the slightest. So anyway, he's gonna lead off with the Uxie. I'm gonna lead off with the Kecleon. I knew that I knew that there was no way he was going to lead off with the Sharpedo, which was like pretty much the worst case scenario with this thing. Probably not the Sharpedo, probably not the Komala, just because they're kind of like unusual leads. So if he had like the Ferrothorn, I can surprise him with the Fire Punch. If he had with the Rotom, I can just set up my rocks or like knock off. Set up the Feeny, I can set up my rocks. or knockoff. You know, like Kecleon is really good against like those 4. Like his 4 most likely leads to me. So let's get off of the Kecleon as he goes into his Uxie. As he tries to as he goes for a Toxic, I'm just going to knock off. I'm decided to go for the knockoff right away because I knew if this thing wanted to stay up for rocks, then getting rid of its item would be really, really nice and getting that nice damage because as soon as if I set up my rocks first, then he could just like pivot into Feeny next turn, and I didn't really want that. So I'm going to knock off its leftovers, and now I'm actually going to set up the rocks as he goes into his Sharpedo. And so here I'm just going to go into the Klefki, because Klefki's Fizz Death. It can take anything this thing wants to throw at me. As he just goes to the Waterfall, I'm fine with that, as I have the leftovers. And with the Reflect, it's going to be doing like so much less. So actually it's going to set up the spikes though. I figured he wouldn't want to stay in because he knew he couldn't take me out, and with the threat of the play off or the Dazzling Gleam, I knew that there is no way he was going to want to stay in there. So I do switch out into the Magmortar here as he goes for the Protect. I decided not to. I guess he was scouting for the HP Fire there. Decided to go into Magmortar immediately, just because I knew that turn there's a good chance he'd attempt to set up like his own Stealth Rocks or something. So just getting this in here before he decides to go for like a T-Wave or like a Leech Seed or something seems like the best time. So he's going to switch out here as I do go for the sub. And so the sub's really nice here because now the Komala is forced to attack, or else I'm just going to have a sub up. And so yeah, because if he decided to like spin there, then he just loses Komala, and I still have a Magmortar behind the sub. So I'm just going to go for the Fire Blast here. That's 43%. I'm not really sure what item this was. However, this Komala is just going to go down to another one. So so he's going to go into his Sharpedo here. Sorry. I was surprised he didn't try to go into like the Feeny or something and try to. Oh dear lord. Okay, what have I done? Oh no. Okay, we're good now. I was surprised he didn't try to go into like the Feeny there or something to defog, but he probably was well aware this thing was like packing the T-Bolt. Yeah, so he's gonna go into the Sharpedo. I'm going to go into my Klefki here. So that takes a decent amount, but it still can't kill me. So this time I actually do go for the Reflect, I believe. Yeah, I do. And so yeah, I'm just going to go straight back to the Magmortar because this thing can't like touch me really. So he's going to go for the Leech Seed. Again, I'm fine with that. And this time I'm actually just going to go for the Fire Blast because I knew that Rotom like walled everything I have. Unfortunately, I miss. So that's unfortunate. But I do see that this is not a this is a more defensive Rotom, as he actually crits my Kecleon. Still is 24%, just from the bulk of Kecleon. And he goes into the Ferrothorn here. And I actually considered going for like the Recovery here, just in case he tried to scout for the Fire Punch. But I figured if he brought this thing now, he was not expecting the Fire Punch. Yeah, so I'm just going to go for that, and it does actually do get a crit, which is really nice, and that is 83%. So that actually does tell me this is like physically defensive. So yeah, but I should do go with Recovery here, as I knew he was probably going to Protect or something. Even if he wasn't, then I'd be able to kill it next turn anyway. So I'm just going to go for the knockoff, and that's going to go down. So Kecleon gets a kill. Yeah, that's just kind of showcasing like what's so good about Kecleon is that your opponent never knows like what you're going to be running. Like he saw this was like a Stealth Rock like knockoff or like a bulky set, and then what do you know, just packing the Fire Punch. Like because I could have run coverage for like definitely could have run like Thunder Punch, which he probably was predicting, and that's why he went to the Ferrothorn. But no, I had the Fire Punch there because I knew Ferrothorn was like such a big threat, and it worked out for me there. So I'm actually just gonna let Kecleon go down here. I knew that there was a chance that Zygarde, or I knew Zygarde could live a Waterfall and then kill it with an E-Speed. However, I was afraid that he'd predict that and go for the Ice Speed or the Ice Fang, and of course we don't want that. So here I'm just going to a Neolego, and Neolego actually just like he actually really just has like nothing for it at this point. Like the Uxie is gonna die to the Sludge Wave. The crit did matter there, but he would have died to the next one anyway. And then since I'm Scarf, like and he already Mega'd, then this Sharpedo is just gonna drop, and that's just it. Rotom, even if it didn't have any boost, it wouldn't be able to touch me anyway. That's just gonna drop. And now the Feeny, and this is actually Scarf Feeny, but I'm Scarf too, so that's gonna go down to a Sludge Wave. And yeah, so back-to-back 5-0s to start the season. That's really nice. First game it was Zygarde wrecking havoc. This time it is it is Nia Lego doing that. So yeah, a good win here against Carter. I don't know. I think this actually would have been a lot closer game if he brought the Lucario. I think I definitely had enough Mence checks to the where like Mence wouldn't have destroyed me. But Lucario definitely would have probably put in a lot more work. As yeah, he really just couldn't like pressure me that much. I just kind of had like a way to check like everything in his team. So yeah, GG to Carter. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. And goodbye.